Hi guys, I wanted to go over a little bit about how to look at your grades in Canvas and tell where you're standing. I'm logged into our Canvas site here right now as a student, so I have this stuff at the bottom about being logged in the student view. Don't need to worry about that. But this should look sort of what it looks like when you're there. So let's go look at the grades here. This is going to be for our test student, which is a student that I've created. So this is the page you get with the grades, and we're going to look at this on something I can write on in a minute. One thing I want to emphasize, you need to make sure that when you do this, that this is sorted by or arranged by assignment group, and that you click apply so it actually has it arranged by that regard. Over here on the right hand side of the screen, we have a total grade. And we have the weightings for the different groups, and that's a little confusing. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then there is apparently some way of doing a what if scores. I'm not sure I know how to do that, but apparently you could do that in Canvas. And then you have here listed at the bottom the things that we have grades for. So like midterm exam is a single grade, and test student got a 75 on the midterm exam, and then lab reports. This student has a 80% so far on lab reports, and then assignments and class participation 85%. Field exam, final exam, obviously we haven't done yet. And then some of these other things don't count. That these two confusing other assignment things, and this attendance and identity, those are all, I think, zeros, and imported assignments is zeros. Those categories are just in there, and I can't get them out right now. So one thing I want to point out for you is if you see by a grade a little bitty X right there, and you see if you highlight that, it says that assignment is dropped and will not be considered in the total calculation. So what you should see is a number of drops for each assignment group. So let's go over and take a look at this. I'll put it in OneNote over here so I can mark it up a little bit. So again, one thing that you're going to see is that they sort the groups here, but they don't tell you what the groups are, which is a little strange. These two here are attendance and identity things that don't matter. Here's midterm exam, which comes into there. Labs start here, and they're pretty well labeled as labs. So you can see going down here, all the labs, including all labs that are yet to come, are on this. So for some reason, it sorts some of them out of order, but generally, so all of these things are labs, including labs that are coming in the future. So those are all the lab reports. And those count 40% towards your grade. It's the biggest single component. What we do is we drop quite a few of those. So if you look right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 labs that are in already. Lesson 1 only had 1, and then lesson 2 we had lab A, lab B, lab C, and lab D. And you see for our test student that one of their labs here is dropped that they didn't do, and then another one is dropped that is the lowest score if you look at all the rest of them. So the labs that counted for the student then is they had a 77 in lab 1A, they had an 88 in lab 2B, and they had a 75 in lab 2C, and then we dropped a 73 and a 0. At the midterm, we dropped 2 of those. For the final, we're going to drop a proportional number of those. So those added up, 77, 80, 88, and 75. Those should average up to something probably in the high 70s, and we could calculate that, but we should have that number down here. Lab reports are right at 80%, as it turns out. So, and then if we look at the assignments and class participation, so those come from here up to the drop the bottom of the labs, right? And again, the ones that are to come are there, as well as the ones that we've been on. So these are assignments and class participation. And that counts 25% of your grade. Again, what you see is that some of the lower grades for test student here have been dropped. You know, one that they just didn't do, and then one that didn't go so well for them, and then 70's a C. That's not so bad, but that one's dropped. And so what we have that count here was 100. What we have here, so we have 85, 100, 80, 70, and 90, and then we dropped down here a 70 and a 57 and a 0. Okay, and that's a 0. So, if you add up 190 and 85 and 80 and 70, all that together, divided by 5, that should come up with the average down here, which was about 85%. And so then to get the overall total, what they did basically was said, okay, we're weighting the midterm exam at 15%, and the lab reports at 40%, and the assignments at 25%. The 20% final exam we've got no information on. So, you're taking basically the 75 times 15, 80 times 40, 85 times 25, multiply those numbers out, and then add them all up, and you get a number, and take whatever that number is and multiply it by 100 and divide it by what this summed up to, which is 80. And that gets you your best grade, your grade out of 100 points there, based on that. So if you're trying to evaluate what you need to do to get a better grade, if you can figure out how to do that trial scenario thing back in Canvas, that would be great. But you can also just do the math on that. I have created some spreadsheets and can pretty quickly tell you where those kind of things stands. If you want to email me questions, it might take me a little bit to get back to you, but I can help you look at that. So in terms of staying in the course, so right now, today is October 19th. By Friday, okay, so 20, 21, 22, 23, by October 23rd is the W deadline. And you need to, if you make a decision to withdraw from the course, it has to be processed by the end of business on Friday. I don't have to have anything to do with executing that. That would be you going through your advisor to get that done, whoever advises you for courses. One thing to keep in mind for this course is that you only need a D for this course to count for graduation. This is not a course that requires you to get a C to graduate. So your target, at least for counting for graduation, is a D or above, preferably above. But that is the lowest target for graduation. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you do elect to withdraw from a course, the course will go on your transcript with a W grade, and that will be counted for financial aid purposes as an unsuccessful attempt of a course. And there are rules regarding financial aid and the percent of success that you have to maintain to remain eligibility for financial aid. So you may want to consult with the financial aid folks. Your advisor should probably be able to give you a pretty good heads up on that, looking at your situation about that. But unfortunately, the federal financial aid does not, appreciate students paying for a course and then not completing it. So anyway, so there are issues like that to be involved in. I will be relatively unavailable near the end of this week. I'm going to actually get my daughter married this weekend, so I'm going to have considerable distractions. So if you need info from me, please try to get those requests in early this week, not later. All right, wish you all the best. Talk to you later. Bye.